What do the songs The River by Joni Mitchell and Super Rich Kids by Frank Ocean have in common? These are two very different songs from very different artists in very different genres and from different eras. But if we actually look underneath the hood of the lyrics and the approach to lyric writing in these songs, there is a key here for any songwriter into how to take any song idea that you have and actually turn it into great lyrics. In this video, what I want to do is show you a lyric writing exercise that's very quick, very simple, but very, very powerful, and can help you take any idea that you have and turn it into great lyrics in under 10 minutes. And look, we might not end up with lyrics like Joni Mitchell or Frank Ocean, but even better than either of those things is that we're going to end up with lyrics that sound uniquely like us. And even better than that is the confidence to know that we can sit down on any day with this exercise and take any idea that we have and turn it into great lyrics. And what I'm actually going to do is use the magic of video editing to cut in me playing a section of a song that I wrote using the lyrics that I will come up with as we're working together here, okay? So you're going to see me in the future, and then you're going to come back to me now in the past/present as I'm actually creating the lyrics. But you're going to see the result first so that you can make the connection between how fast this exercise is to do and how quickly it can translate into actual lyric writing and actual songwriting. All right, so here we go. The sun is still bright at 7 p.m. and Christmas lights are strung on my neighbor's fence. Halloween candy is starting to melt, and somehow the weight of gravity, it cannot bring me down. The exercise that I'm about to show you is called zooming the lens, and it is based on a foundational concept in great lyric writing, which is this: that it is the honesty and authenticity of your unique experience and perspective in this life that connects and resonates more with listeners rather than trying to stay in a world of generics and generalities. So let's dive into this 4-step lyric writing exercise, zooming the lens. Step 1 is to find an idea or even just a general or generic line. So we're looking for a starting point that we're really going to zoom the lens in on in this exercise. If you don't have an idea or a line like that you're currently working with, you can actually practice this exercise by just taking any old kind of average or general or generic line or idea and practice zooming the lens in. So I'm going to give you a few to work with if you don't have one that springs to mind. So here are some examples of this sort of general line or idea. A romantic Friday night with my lover. The excesses of wealth. Christmas is on its way. So any of these things might be something that sparks the fire of the songwriter, but we know that that in itself is not a song, and it's such a common frustration to have an idea or a feeling or a memory or a situation that you want to write about, but you're just not sure how to get in. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice getting in. So we've got the general idea and we're going to move on to step 2. Step 2 is to zoom in on situational specifics. In this step, what I'm going to do, and I'll encourage you to do the same, is to set a timer for 6 minutes. And in 6 minutes, what I'm going to do is try to replace that line with as many specific lines that show that thing rather than merely telling that thing. So I'm going to think of this like creating little one-line word photographs, something that puts an image directly into the mind of a listener. And each of these lines is just one little photograph. I'm not trying to write a verse section. I'm really trying to generate as many of these word photographs as I can to really paint a picture. And part of it is for yourself as a songwriter. It's to start to access parts of your memory and sense experience of life that are much more sense bound. So they rely on the senses and the sensory experience. And in that way, we're gonna start to really like flesh out this idea. So I'm gonna set a timer for 6 minutes for myself, and I've got my computer right here. So I'm gonna use the expression Christmas is on its way. And actually, as I'm making this video, that's true. Christmas is on its way. The weather is changing here in Sydney, Australia, and there's always a market for Christmas songs if we're thinking commercially like songwriters. So this is a good theme or topic to practice this exercise on. Christmas is on its way. All right, 6 minutes, here we go. Okay, that is 6 minutes. All right. I'm keen to know how you went in 6 minutes. So if you are actually following along this video and you've typed out some stuff, please feel free to use the comment section to share some of the lines that you came up with. Even if it's just one line, the best line that you came up with that you want to share, please stick it in the comments. And hopefully some of you also did. Christmas is on its way, so we can start to see the different word photographs from lives around the world. One thing you'll also notice, just to allay any confusion, is that a lot of my word photographs imply that the weather is getting hotter as we approach summer. And that is the case where I am located in Sydney, Australia. So, we spend Christmas in bikinis on the beach, cooking sausages. So in step 2, we have done a fast but really rapid fire process of turning something that was general or generic or kind of an abstract idea into specifics. And we're really kind of piling on these different word photographs, is how I like to think of them. What you'll see is that some of them will be connected, some of them will just kind of be snapshots, but we're going to use that as the basic material for a section of song. Which brings us to step 3. So in step 3, we're going to zoom the lens in again. This time, we're not just focused on kind of situational or environment details, we're really turning the lens internally. So we're going to start to enter our mind, our thoughts, our feelings as we go through these next steps. So in step 3, we are zooming the lens in on how we are feeling. So the prompt question for you here is, what does it feel like? What are the feelings and emotions that arise, and how do they feel when we think about the picture, the scene, the situation, the memory that we have conjured by bringing out these word photographs? I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes for myself. And again, I'm just going to try and come up with as many lines, also really understanding that I'm not going to censor myself. I'm not going to allow thoughts in my head that are saying, oh, this line isn't any good, to interfere with this process at all, because often it's about allowing ourselves to just get something on the page that makes room for the better stuff to come in. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to turn the volume down on those other voices and just get some things on the page in 3 minutes. Okay, here we go. Okay, awesome. So for me, a really important observation, as predicted, is that the first couple of things are just getting into the zone, and then some interesting stuff happened at the end of that 3 minutes, right? Like, I really like the idea of the weight has lifted, gravity has less of a drag, or is less of a drag, time moves more like molasses. So there's stuff there to do with time and gravity and lightness. And you can also see that for me, I lean quite heavily on imagery as well, but now we're in the zone of metaphor, because when we're using imagery to describe emotion, we're really talking in metaphor. But that's a beautiful type of writing and a really expressive type of lyric writing. So I'm leaning into it, and I've got some really interesting emotion type language on the page, which means it's now time for us to go to step 4. So in step 4 of zooming the lens, we are zooming the lens in again. And this time what we're kind of doing is shifting the lens up into our heads or our minds. And what we're gonna do here is focus on thoughts. So where step 3 was really, really focused on emotions and feelings, even how those feelings feel in our body, what we're going to do in this step is really focus on thought. So the prompt question for step 4 is, what are the thoughts that come into your mind when you are thinking about the scene, situation, moment, or memory that you are sitting inside of with the original prompt? And I'm gonna set a timer for 2 minutes this time. And in 2 minutes, I'm going to just get out any thoughts or ideas that come to mind when I think about Christmas being on its way. Very quickly, in 4 simple steps, each only taking a couple of minutes, we have come up with an incredibly rich and diverse palette of lyric material to work with. And one of the most important bits of kind of lyric writing magic that I want to show you is how when you combine descriptive lyrics, where you're painting a picture of the world, with the more internal emotion, thought, and feeling language, the combination is magic. And that's really where connection lives with a listener. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some of this material and I'm going to turn it into a lyric, and I'm going to set it to music, and I'm going to play it for you. And because video editing is a type of time travel, you already heard this song, but you're going to see me kind of putting the song together a little bit. And then I'll play it for you one more time. And then after that, I'm gonna really show you how this plays out in a Joni Mitchell song and in this Frank Ocean song that we talked about at the beginning of the video. Writing the song. All right, so I'm gonna go in and write the song. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take all these lines into a separate note doc that I've got here. And I'm going to kind of pick and choose between them, try them out, look for rhyme that already exists, and just kind of then follow the path that emerges in this magic forest, okay? Christmas lights and melt. Fence, PM, fence, and melt are all rhymes. Halloween candy, the Halloween candy. The sun is still bright at 7 p.m. and Christmas lights are strung on my neighbor's fence. Halloween candy is starting to melt, and somehow the weight of gravity cannot bring me down. So the song that I just wrote quickly and played for you was modeled on the song The River by Joni Mitchell. Now, it is not of the caliber or quality of Joni Mitchell's songs. That's not the point of this. The point of this is to really say, when you have an idea or a feeling, there are things that you can do that we can see evidence of in these song lyrics, that these songwriters have an idea. And how do they go about fleshing out the idea? They sit inside the memory. They draw on their sensory experience and really flesh that stuff out. But it's not just about painting the pictures. It's also about combining those things with how it feels. What are the thoughts or the feelings associated or attached to that idea? The emotion lands in a very, very powerful way because we have the connection of details with the connection of the emotion as well. Let's see the same combination of things at play in the first verse of Super Rich Kids by Frank Ocean. You can see for 6 of the 8 lines of the first section of this song that he's really giving us very specific details that show us this world of these super rich kids. So he's putting us inside a kind of movie in his own mind and sharing that movie with us, and we're there, we're in it. And the last 2 lines are there reserved for a kind of lyrical cadence where he gives us the thought attached to the scene. He makes statements about what we're looking at, which start to give us a sense of what the emotional heart or tone or intention behind this song really is. If you are a songwriter who is keen to write more songs and share them with a community of songwriters from around the world and get other tips, ideas, inspirations, songwriting prompts, and a whole lot of other material and resources from Benny and I, you can also join our songwriter community, and the link to that is in the notes below. See you songwriting soon, guys.